Thanks for joining our last session. You all made it through our course. We're really excited to see what you all have to share with us today. And while we wait for a couple others to join us, we thought we'd kick it off with a discussion question, just kind of based on the checklist that has been kind of guiding us through this course that John referenced in the first session, and we'll talk about it again today, but it's I'm going to get this right, operational optimization checklist.
Yeah,
kind of right.
Don't make it easy to say, right?
Yeah. So from that, and I can pull it up if we need that as a reference, but from that, are there things that you have been able to work on throughout this course? Anything you want to share on? Any items you've been able to check off or that you'd soon like to be able to check off?
So our website, we are right now replacing our old website. It's just about to be updated new, and so that's been a lot of work based on marketing and what we think is going to work marketing wise.
Well, and that's this is just, we are showing the blue were the ones that we kind of had done already with John, and then there's some more pinks in that we got to do during the course, and then the circles are ones that we're working on, and so there's only a couple of them that we haven't really done a lot with. So we just really appreciate it. And I think some of the biggest ones were the application of lean principles. John had been talking to us about that, and the strategic plan. And we better understand what our tactical initiatives are now. We didn't really quite understand what they were, but now we get it better.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
You guys are so organized. Color coded. Love it.
And you actually changed your on your website. You changed your, I guess not your header, but your value proposition, which I thought was good. It was a little too wordy before, but I think it's right on the money now. So.
Thank you.
And I love the confetti, so that's cool.
Thanks.
Look, there's Mary. Hi, Mary.
There's Mary. Hey, Mary.
Welcome.
So we'll wait until Rob. Are you there with us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool. So you want to read that question, Hannah, please?
Yes, yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, so for everyone who just joined, we were just doing a brief discussion on the operational optimization checklist and any items that you've been able to work on throughout this course that maybe you've been able to check off or that you feel you are better set up to be able to check off in the future. So that's what we're talking about before we get into some presentations.
So really, let me just jump in 1 second and talk about that. You may not have the checklist in front of you. So really the areas that we covered were the financial tracking, strategic planning, employee training, best use of software, lean manufacturing, and of course, last week, a marketing strategy. So as I said last week, the operational optimization checklist is just a follow-up piece. Do a little at a time, and go back to it. I think at least on a monthly or a quarterly basis, and see where you're at. So if not, I'll call you a quarterly basis and remind you. So, right, Mary?
Yes, true.
So, Mary, you and I have been working for a long time together for a long time. So what new tricks or items did you learn from the class or from the checklist?
I did go back and review the checklist, and I felt like, thanks to working with you for a really long time, most of those things we can either check off, or, as you know, nothing's ever really permanently checked off. You have to come back to those things on a regular basis. Trying to think of something that I got out of the class per se that was new to me. Honestly, I'll think of it after we get off the call, but nothing's coming to mind at the moment, so forgive me.
If it comes to you, just jump in. This is very informal, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hannah, what about you? I kind of know the direction you're going, so, but what has stood out as far as you're concerned?
Yeah. Big standouts for us, lean principles is huge. So we are planning on Kaizen events with the top brass here at the little furniture shop to discuss to go over systematically the tactical initiatives that we have put together. We also are developing our skills matrices, and just like Gibb and Lisa, we are also having our website redone. It took a long time for me to be willing to let somebody else do that, and finally let it go, and it feels so good. And then the other would be software applications for both inventory management as well as the production process.
All right. And really Hannah, like you, really like everybody else on here, just a reminder, I will continue to follow up with you and see how you're progressing and give you ideas and I don't go away. Mary, I don't go away, do I? So.
No, you don't, and we're glad.
I'd be a pain in the rear, but hey, I don't go away. So, but yeah, a lot of follow up, and Hannah, I look forward to spending some time working on the software applications like you talked about. So Rob, you're in the middle of a role. Give us where you're at and what's going on.
So I'll turn video on here. My meeting with distributor got pushed to next week, but that's not a big deal since all my paperwork's through now. But after thinking about it over the last few weeks, we're going to shift gears a little bit too and add on a VDC department and start doing a completely digitized construction project. So the contractors are having a hard enough time doing it on their own. They can't think in that world, and I have a couple of really great guys that we're gonna bring on board. So I think here, hopefully, in the next few months, we can get that rolling.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, that means it's time to look for some money.
All right. So the other thing. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Regine. I know you had to learn something. Hopefully, you learned something from our little bit of wisdom over here. So.
Well, I was just trying, my volume is not very good. I was, some of the procedural documents that you had, I thought were very helpful, kind of as a checklist of things to look at, and, the procedure of going through is what I found very helpful.
Okay. Good. Roy, welcome back. Can you hear me, Roy?
Yes, I can. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you could join us for the last session. What we're covering right now is just a bit of a discussion on what are you walking away from? What are you walking away with as far as your learnings? So, based on everything that we went through, what kind of stands out for you?
For me, it's just going to have to be mostly the lean manufacturing that'll help me the most. I don't have to deal with the marketing and stuff. So, but as far as lean manufacturing goes, I'd have to say just getting everything organized in the bins for certain workstations, and especially eliminating wasted time and wasted movement.
No, it's fantastic. That's fantastic. Again, what I was mentioning before you got on is, you need any follow-up from myself or anybody else at the SBDC, just let me know, okay?
That'd be great.
Glad to-
We're actually moving into a new facility, so I was gonna try to set it up as lean as I could. Maybe you could come down and take a look and see if you have any other ideas.
Absolutely,
That'd be great.
absolutely. I've gotten all my vaccines, so I'm traveling around a little bit, so that's great.
Good.
So,
John, I have a takeaway from Jessica's presentation. Actually, I thought it was really well done. And one of the things that she said, which I think is so important, she said, anybody who comes to your company should get the same message repeated over and over again, whether they're talking to somebody on the phone, looking at the website. You may recall, everyone, she used that example of you say that you provide friendly service and they call the company and get treated rudely by the first person they talk to. And I actually had a little chance to make use of that advice the other day because I was on the phone with a customer and I got to use some subject matter expertise to help them with their problem, which is what we always, that's one of our messages that we like to drive home. But I just thought that was a particularly good thing to keep in mind in your website design, your advertising. Make sure that you're getting a particular message out there and then you follow up when it's time to talk to them or email them.
it's a good point. And matter of fact, I looked at your website yesterday, and the subject matter that's in there is really helpful. It's current and it's an informative. You know, it's the kind of thing that a customer or a potential customer is going to look at and say, this particular Deltec furnace, they know their stuff, and so I'm going to talk to them. So it means a lot, and it's a very good point, Mary. Very good point.
Thank you, John. And I have one other thing, which I just had never thought about before, but Jessica had recommended that the military business meeting that was put on by Kansas Manufacturing Center, one in Chicago, the Manufacturer's Edge. And they had a couple of manufacturers there who weren't big manufacturers. These are small companies, but they've gone digital to as much of an extent as they could. Now in their cases, it's things like machine shops or machine shops and something else, other kinds of product fabrication, but they were using it to like track information, machine health, productivity, all kinds of things. And I think that fits nicely in with the lean concept. And they say that this whole digital thing is digital on factory floors is going to be a like the fourth wave industrial revolution is what they were calling it. And one of the things that I did think of that we could do, John's got us using tablets in production for inventory tracking, shipping and receiving. And I thought maybe we could do that for our drawings, because somebody else commented, one of those speakers commented on that they, instead of printing out drawings, they just give people tablets and let them look at those. And then you aren't hunting down drawings, trying to wipe the coffee stains off the drawing. I think any of you who use drawings on the production floor know what I'm talking about.
That's funny. Yeah, but that's a good point. I mean, data analytics are the wave of, like you say, the fourth wave of the future. It's not the future, it's today. So the more that you can look at your data, I think it's, it's highly recommended because that's where everybody else is going. So, okay, Hannah, I think we have covered everybody.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you everyone for sharing on that first discussion question. We'd like to use most of the time today to hear from all of you on what ideas you are working on in your business. If you want to try out a pitch or a new campaign or anything you're working on, we really love to be a network for each other. And Jessica said it best last week. I think she said something along the lines of the best way to know if your ideas are good or not is to test them out on a captive audience. And that's what you have here. So really whatever you want to share. I know some of you talked about a website that you want us to look at. Really, you can be creative and the time is yours, the floor is yours. So is there anyone who wants to go first?
That would be no, I think.
Well, if nobody, I mean, I don't want to monopolize the time, but if no one else wants to go first, I will jump in and say, I actually need some help. And what I'm wondering from all you manufacturers here is who runs your production floor and what kind of a background do they have? What positives and negatives do you see about how that works in terms of working with management? John can tell you we've had our problems over the years with production supervisors, and in one way or the other, we always wind up with some kind of a gigantic headache. And so we've talked about hiring a manufacturing engineer, at least somebody maybe with an AA degree or AS degree. But we're kind of floundering right now. We don't know what to do. And I would appreciate anything anybody wants to share about how you're doing it.
Well, Mary, I think that's a really interesting question. It is surprisingly difficult to find good people. I don't think that our shop is anywhere close to the size of the facility that you work with, but I know from my experience, we've had the same back of house or manufacturing manager back there for years now. And he does not have a formal background. He does not, I don't think he finished his college degree. He is a farm boy from Nebraska. And he loves what we do. I think that's a big part of it. And he's trainable. And I think that if I had found anybody that would be able to learn because they were interested in the company as a whole, that's a person that I think I'll always give my attention to first before I actually start looking to come up with expected certifications and things like that. It also saves money potentially. Small shop.
For sure.
Well, we're talking about you now, so tell us about your background and what you think makes you successful.
So yeah, I actually run the production floor as of right now. When we get a little bigger, I'll just go to more of a supervising position and let someone else run it. But my background actually is not in any business management or anything like that. I actually have a finance degree, and I think that was a good point. I think if you find somebody who is too qualified for that position, it's going to be tough to kind of push them the direction you need them to be. So I think it's a good point that if you get somebody trainable that doesn't necessarily have all the tools, you can kind of steer them a little bit. Whereas if they come in with 35 years of experience, they're going to be more hesitant to adapt. For me, I've always been in team sports, things like that. And I think that's kind of a crucial aspect to management, just being able to work with other people and look at their points. You don't always, you might take it with a grain of salt, but at least being able to work in groups. And I think that's something that team sports has personally taught me. So somebody with some sort of good communication background.
Thank you.
Kind of funny, to Roy's point, I was talking about wanting to hire more guys that have had sports team backgrounds to begin with, because you want those guys that are part of a team. And I generally shy away from guys that are engineers because I've been on the floor for so long that they don't speak the same language. Matter of fact, the guy I have right now running my floor did 5 years in the pen, been out for 5 now, and the guy's awesome. He wants it, he gets it, but he doesn't have the background of manufacturing, but he's super trainable, super eager. And anything I ask him to do is done before it comes out of my mouth, which is almost a hindrance because he does too much. But I definitely try to hire attitude versus background.
Thank you.
I think.
Yeah, I'd like to agree. I'd like to agree. I spent 25 years in manufacturing for someone else, and a good portion of that was production supervisor. And when it came to hiring people, definitely trainable people, moldable people. Sounds silly, but I looked for people who had experience as a short order cook, specifically. Those people handle a lot of things, a lot of balls in the air at one time, a lot of pressure, and typically they're comfortable with the pressure of a production supervisor. And I didn't have much luck at all with engineers and trained people. They just thought they were entitled because they'd earned that degree, and it just didn't work for what we were doing. But yeah, I agree with Rob. If you can give somebody that doesn't fit the mold, give them the opportunity, usually they'll impress you.
Thank you, Gib. Thank you, Gib.
Sure.
I think a lot of it's got to do, and the very same thing that you're saying is their attitude. You know, they have a positive can-do attitude and a bit of intelligence and common sense. You know, you can teach a supervisor what you want them to do with the right attitude and approach. You know, I always talk about treating people with respect, and that's one of the really the key characteristics. If you find someone that is respectful of your employees, they're going to get that common respect back, and they'll be more motivated to do the work. So, I mean, they got to be organized too. I think organization is a big part of it. But we talked about a lot of systems that we have put in place or putting in place that will help with that organization part of it. And you're not alone. I can tell you, just this week, I talked to 2 different clients that are asking me the same question. They're at the point where the owner really didn't need anyone to guide the floor, but now they're approaching that, and they both have amazing growth. And you know, I've told them that I think that they need to put someone in place, not necessarily because I asked the question, not necessarily from their current employees, but just someone that has those characteristics that we talked about. So it's a very common occurrence, common concern. Regina, I know you deal with a lot of different clients. Some got to have some supervision. So what's your thoughts?
I really think it's more the person that loves the job and that's looking for that certain personality that's going to make the difference. Some colleges that works and some it doesn't. I know the major manufacturing that I worked for once before, it was family owned and family did the best on the production and passed other things over to other people like selling or whatever. So it's who really has a heart for that is what I find makes the biggest difference.
Thank you.
Okay. Hope that helps, Mary.
Did you say what else?
I said, hope that helps.
Oh, yes.
If not, you and I will have a offline session and talk about it. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what I heard from each and every one is get someone who's manageable, trainable, and has the right personality for the job. And in thinking about it, I think we've, that's probably our problem. We're going to have to figure that one out. And also, I very much appreciate the input about don't assume that getting a degreed person is going to solve all your problems, because it may well make other problems. Also, the fact that engineers are a different breed and it's a little harder for them to communicate and vice versa. So those are good takeaways. Thank you, everyone.
Actually, Mary, I don't have experience with manufacturing, but I used to work with the web development team. And so I worked closely with software engineers and web developers, a lot of introverted people. And they didn't have the people skills or the soft skills to deal with people. And so that was really tough, just trying to pull them out of their comfort zones. So if you can find somebody that has those people skills that can speak to the high level engineers, that would probably be a really good thing for you to focus on.
Thank you. And boy, I agree. If you think about software engineers, I'm not surprised about what you're saying about them being introverted.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of, it brings up another key challenge that if you're not facing it today, you're going to be facing it here pretty quick, is hiring good people, hiring and retaining good people. I know we talked about training, we talked about skills matrix, and you know, you get to the point where you will be hiring people. Reach out to me and I'll help you build a skills matrix. Mary's had one for a long time. She uses it really faithfully, and I think it's been pretty effective, but kind of depends who's administering it. So yeah, it's a challenge. You would think with unemployment you can find the best people, but I don't know if that's necessarily true right at the moment. Mary, I know that's one of your other challenges. So
Yes, ongoing and getting worse, I think.
I can
does
say,
anybody have any ideas where to find the best people?
if you're looking for just kind of production people, we started using a nonprofit called TACT, and they deal in placing kids with autism, and they're fantastic. We've got
Really?
2 on board right now. They train them, they do everything. And it's in everything from welding to assembly to IT. But talking to this organization, they said 90% or 98%, I think it was, of all autistic people go without jobs. They have the highest unemployment rate of every single group or individuals out there, and they want to work. And when you get them trained up, they don't leave.
Nice.
So it's actually been really successful. We've had 2 guys not work out of the 4 so far, but I mean, you got to expect that, right?
Yes, you
All
do.
right.
Rob, what's the name of that again?
TACT, TACT. They're out of just outside of downtown Denver.
Mhm. Terrific.
Well, find a pen.
Okay, Hannah, do we want to move on? I got some exciting materials I've got.
Sorry, I was still on mute and didn't know. Yeah, who else wants to share?
Go ahead, Lisa.
We can go if you want.
Okay, great. Let me make you, were you still wanting to share your website, Lisa?
Yes, but do you mind if I share some other stuff first? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make you
Okay.
so that you can share whenever you.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I should have it up and I don't. Oh, well, I'll get it in a minute. So that's okay. So what we would like to do is ask y'all about the website. We're one of the people that is needing to redo our website. We've worked with John, as he said, for a couple of years, and he's really whipping us into shape for production and paperwork and finances and and all the stuff. We were kind of just playing at being business owners. We didn't know what we were doing, but John's really helped us. And now we understand things like cash flow analysis and strategical, tactical initiatives, those big words. But so now we feel like our outside look to everyone needs to look like we've made changes. And so just as a background, just to kind of show you, so we send quite a few things out in a white plain box. And we thought the white plain box should be dressed up. And this was our wonderful idea to dress the box up with black and white. And our logo is basically just our words. That's it, just using those two different fonts. But so that's what we thought was, really pretty fancy. And inside, our daughter gives me grief for this because I'm a former elementary teacher and I love colors. Inside, we put we call them love notes. We handwrite things and we put them on bright construction type paper. We also have like a care card for our cutting boards, again, on the cutesy paper. And our biggest thing that we would do is we had our business cards, which we just print ourselves, and we would allow people to pick their own color. We thought that was fun marketing. So we needed some help. We're not sure. We think we've advanced beyond that because our website, I wish you could see the old one, but the old website was black with white. I don't know about your Zoom, but the black background with the white words on it. That's basically our website. It was white or black with white on it. And we thought that was really, kind of fancy too. So we've gone to a new idea, and John said something about confetti, and we would like your opinion on the website and the materials to go with it. Jessica showed that one slide with her father-in-law having kind of a suite of marketing things. And so we would like to get an idea if you could help us with this. So do I just go to share screen? Is that what I do, Hannah?
Yes, yeah, it should be green and should be does it let you?
Okay. I'm going to get our website up first and make sure that I can get it here. Excuse me just a second. I forgot that I was supposed to have it up. Golly, really technological. Okay, so I'm going to try sharing and select screen. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. So this, I don't know what y'all are seeing, but this is I see people to the side, and then I see something at the top. Is it okay? So this is the look that we're now considering, and with a new tagline. Our old tagline was something about create delightfully unexpected gifts with words on wood, which, as John said, that's pretty wordy. So we thought that almost everything that we do, coasters and cutting boards, bookmarks, boxes, ornaments, birthday favors and party favors and business swag, games, it's all basically fun stuff. And so we just took our tagline down to custom woodwares that celebrate life, or possibly thoughtful woodwares that celebrate life, but basically just adding a little bit of color there, and making all of our marketing kind of match this. We're not sure about the confetti. We liked it, and we do say at the bottom, and this is from Hannah with the Boulder, the furniture. They put on their website the things that they do to give back to the community, and we really liked that. And so we put a little blurb in here about why confetti, and I won't read it, but it's just talking about tossing kindness around like confetti. I'm sure you've heard that, but we would like to put a little packet of confetti in every order. And that confetti is actually made from scraps left over from our little side business that's a nonprofit where we make cards out of handmade paper and letterpress it, and then all of the profits from those cards go to our local charities. And so it's something that we show at shows, and we thought, well, let's just add it on our website too, and talk about the confetti. And it's a way to kind of segue into the things that we do that we hope will help the community. And so let's see. So the website, is basically what we're questions, and I'll show you the marketing. It's just, what do y'all think about this idea? Let's see. Now, how can I stop sharing?
Lisa, before
Okay.
you.
So, oh, I'm sorry. I can go back.
Oh, good. Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay. John, you had a question?
Yeah.
Is it
Okay,
showing?
so you had asked me about, well, you had changed it to fun woodwares that celebrate life. And then you asked me, do you like custom or something else? I don't remember. But
Thoughtful. Yeah.
based on the website itself, and everybody jump in here if you want to. I think fun woodwares that celebrate life is pretty cool. Now that I look at it, custom's kind of like, I don't know. It describes it, but what you're marketing is fun woodwares. Okay. So I don't know.
Okay.
Custom
Yeah.
seems
What do you
a little
think?
stuffy.
You're a really good expert on this sort of thing. Michelle, are you there?
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
Oh, I
Yeah,
said-
actually,
Yeah, what I was saying is, from a standpoint of their little header there, it's custom woodwares that celebrate life. And Lisa had asked me the other day, should we make that custom or fun woodwares that celebrate life? They were a little concerned. Help me out, Lisa. A little concerned about. I hate to say this.
Well, we have done our daughter, who's a millennial. She had said she thought custom or thoughtful would be better than fun, because we have done a few memorials. So we've made some bookmarks for, like a celebration of life. We've made recipe cards for a gentleman. I can't ever say it without crying. The what?
Posthumously.
Posthumously. He was killed on a bicycle, and he was a chef, and we made recipe cards for the family, but they were giving us Christmas gifts, in his honor. So our daughter kind of thought the word fun was maybe not good, and she thought business people wouldn't like the word fun, if they were like, we have realtors like our cutting boards. And, we have business swag. You can't see them very well, but there's some ornaments and magnets there from business swag events. And she thought that maybe custom or thoughtful would be better than fun. We liked fun, but we're old. So
what about creative?
oh,
Another good choice.
I like that. Do you guys like that? I like that.
No, honestly.
I like that.
Put
I
any
like that.
front of woodwares that celebrate life. I think that's short to the point, and it covers everything that you make.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Just drop the word altogether. Woodwares that celebrate life.
Oh, I could do that too.
Thanks, Rob.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes. And Mary.
Mary.
Thank you. Thank you all. That is.
Give a show now.
And then, so if we were to do this, we now have a question about, is this overkill? Because we kind of came up with a suite of things. So the box would now go to something like this. Okay, that might go on a sales kit, just celebrate with us. We also do uncommon goods, and this would be for our uncommon goods order. Just there's something uncommon, it's the same thing we had, but just putting the confetti on there and adding some confetti inside. The enclosure card would be confetti, and it would have the same tagline down at the bottom, our love note that we write on, and then the cutting board care card would still be readable on the inside, kind of, and then would look like this. And then our wonderful suite of colorful cards, business cards, would go to something like this, plain and simple, with just the tagline on the back as well. You know, and if we do add confetti inside, it will be in a little packet, like the little packets you get jewelry in, with a little explanatory note. And I lost that one, but it says, you know, why the confetti. It's similar to what's on the, oh yeah, there it is, thank you. It would be something this size, and that way it's confetti, but it's not all over the floor when somebody opens it. Is that too much? You know, and one other thing is, when we do have these boxes, sorry, this has some of our sales kits things in it that we're going to do that. But when we do the box, we also shred the office paper that we make the handmade paper from. We keep some of it and put it inside the box. That's our shipping for our smaller orders, not the great big ones to the retailers, but you know, so is that too much?
I think it's great. Sorry, Hannah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're the professional. I just, Lisa, that's a great package.
Absolutely.
I think that omni-channel kind of approach to the physical literature is wonderful. I know we also put together sort of a care package, or sort of a grand finale box that we give to clients upon delivery. And it is meant to be this, it's a moment, right? The whole experience of opening that box, from the packaging, the labeling on the outside, to what it's filled with, to what's in there, to this confetti thing, is awesome. I think you guys have put together a great of marketing materials. I wanted to mention, just as far as the black and white with the confetti is a great contrast, and the site looks great. I did want to toss out the possibility of creating a little more readability by putting a black border around each of those images, instead of having them be the straight image on the confetti. And then the other thing was considering maybe the same thing of giving your actual name and vision statement or value position, giving those a white background too, just so that they're really readable. Because like your daughter, you know, we're all going to these sites on our phones now too. And, and the clearer that can come across, the better. I think the mention at the bottom of why confetti, like, scream about that. Thing that I would be so happy to support you guys if I saw that. And then last thing, and this is just because it's been suggested to us, you two are pretty marketable. If you decided to put your faces on that page, I understand, I get it. But
No.
And people want that authenticity so badly. So two smiling people that are like, we love each other and successfully work together. It's nice. But I love what you guys are doing. I think it's great.
You could put
Thank
your
you.
picture on. You could put your picture on the contact us page. It wouldn't have to be on the front page. It could be on that contact us and we'll see you.
We have a picture on the About Us page, but we don't send people there very often. It's from 2016 when our first kid got married, because we dressed up. So, we dressed up 4 times in our life, our own marriage and our kids' marriages.
Right.
So, but thank you. And Hannah, thank you so much, because I really appreciate what you say on your website, and just to even see the, the SOBO support, and just, you know, and all the other things y'all do on your website. It really inspired us.
Lisa, I have one comment, and that's about the confetti on the labels on the boxes. Are you planning on making that colored as well? I would, I think, so that the theme follows through all the way, so that all the confetti that people see is colored. And I too,
Yes.
love your chicken box idea. That's fantastic with the shredded paper, junk paper in there. That is great.
A good way to use junk mail and less, you know, but we have this, but it's not very colorful, but that's, we looked up about 50 confetti images and finally found this one that was affordable, you know, and we get, but still we're trying, but you're right. That needs a little bit, maybe more on the box. It doesn't really fill up the whole box. It just doesn't. You know, so we could do that, add more.
Make it work.
Also, as far as the box goes, I don't know what you guys are paying for that, but there's a local shop in Colorado Springs. They do just about the same box that you showed me there. And they can actually put that on the entire box, 360 degrees plus your label. And I think it's like $225 a box. So you won't actually have to put anything on it. It'll come ready to go.
I love that. Do you know their name?
I don't, but if you give me your email, I got the box at work. Let me grab a pen and I'll email it to you.
Roy, I'd like
Great.
that email too.
Okay, let me call the guy at work. I'll ask him what company it is, and I'll just put it in the chat for everybody. And they do
Wonderful.
anything
Thank
you
you.
want. Just give me 1 sec.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
This is what networking is all about.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that.
And just one more thing, given Lisa, I think Regine had put a comment in the chat about updating your Facebook page as well. Regine, did you just mean to like align the branding from their website with the branding of their Facebook as well? Yeah, great idea.
Okay.
And we have to do our Etsy store, but it's kind of on vacation right now because of this. So I hadn't thought about the Facebook because we have problems getting things done on Facebook. That would be me. Oh, well.
So from a branding standpoint, you'll just want to make sure that you're consistent with your fonts and your colors all the way across.
Yes, good idea. We are kind of on Instagram too, so we'll look at all of that too. I hadn't even thought about that. Yikes, thank you.
It's a bunch of stuff.
It's a bunch.
My coworker's sending me a picture of the box, so I'll get you all the cell phone number and the website information and all that, so you can take a peek. But it's fully
Awesome.
customizable. And I think if I got the price right, it was roughly, if you order in bulk, it's about $2 a box. So I don't know what you're spending on them right now, but they do look really good. They look really clean and professional.
I think we're spending, these are from Amazon, and I think we're spending like $1.50 a box, and that would be so well worth it to have it look good,
And it'll take
more professional.
It'll take all the extra work out of it for you two to get the box ready.
Yeah, cutting these gets old.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to go next?
I'll follow up with another question for the group regarding good talent. We are rapidly approaching a position where we're ready to hire somebody for front of house to basically do, half of the things that I do, which is a full-time job. And so we have had pretty bum luck with, we seem to be a magnet for people who, A, I want to be a woodworker, and B, I want to be a designer. And this job is sales. It is, it's public essentially. And it is like that short order cook thing. It's still very spontaneous from day to day, from task to task. But like I said, it would only be half of the things that I do, not all of them. So I'm curious if anybody has any recommendations on where to look or where to post for an open position, specifically in the world of sales. Your average person with sales experience doesn't get very far here. We are a Colorado company. We're extremely casual. We had one applicant show up in a suit, and it was just a really awkward day. It's kind of that X factor of being totally professional, but having a good Colorado casual approach to things.
So I do have an idea for you. It's going to sound weird or odd, but I really think you need somebody that's passionate about your product, that really likes a high quality, high-end custom piece of furniture. And it sounds weird, but the people that like that fits their criteria, they're your customers. They came in and they spent money. Is there somebody in that pool that you could reach, that you have a communication with already, because they understand it? It's not IKEA, and they understand that. It sounds weird. I know it's hard.
Sounds.
But if you
I have no idea. No one comes to mind, but how true.
Right.
I mean, that is
Right.
a captive, practically, audience of people who've already shown that they favor what we do so much they're willing to vote on it with their wallet. So that's a
exactly.
interesting route that I would never have thought about. So I'll give that some thought. Thanks, Skip.
Sure.
Where have you posted at so far, Hannah, and looking for that position?
Yeah, we've tried pretty much everything over the years, from Craigslist to when you suddenly had to start paying to post for a job on Craigslist, to Instagram, to ZipRecruiter, and there was another, LinkedIn, I think, and the old-fashioned sign in the window.
Do you have on your website, do you have a link for people to potentially get an application and come stop by?
We do not have any kind of careers.
Similar to what Gibbs said, I think pulling from your customer pool might be the best option. So if you put that on your website, that's already somebody who has some interest there because they're viewing your webpage. So they might, instead of you having to reach the customer might reach you, kind of thing.
Like this.
Thinking about it, Hannah, again, it might sound crazy, but the gentlemen, the men, the people that you already have working for you, their spouses or their cousins, people that they've already sold your company to, when they go to a picnic, they've talked about work. They've talked about how you guys have pushed quality. You guys have pushed those things. There might be a salesman in that group who could do it. I don't know. Just an idea.
And I also just posted something on the chat. It's Andrew Hudson jobs. Those are primarily just Colorado-based jobs.
Very cool, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wish Kevin and Alex were on here, but I got to tell you a little story about them. I guess they're so busy that they've kind of fallen off the radar. But one thing they do in after their hiring process, and once that person is up to speed, and I think they probably have to be there for at least 3 months, maybe 6 months. They allow them on their own time to build their own trailer. And this is, you're talking about anywhere from a $13,000 to $20,000 item. Now they have to pay for the materials. It's just their own labor that gets involved in it. And I thought that was the neatest thing from a standpoint of it creates ownership. It creates, because they're building their own, they're going to make it the best possible. And then they walk away and it's free advertising from a standpoint, because on Timberlake Trailer is a very prominent logo that sits on the back of the trailer on both sides. Another funny piece about that, I was driving up to Estes, it was 2019, I guess. And one of the gas stations I passed in Lyons had a guy was parked beside the road with a Timberleaf trailer. I stopped, did a U-turn. My wife was yelling at me because I'm in the middle of the traffic. I said, I got to go back and talk to that person. so I went back and I guess they thought I was crazy. But I said, hey, I know Kevin and Alex that built your trailer. And they said, oh yeah, it's the best trailer ever. So should have taken photos, I guess, but it's pretty funny. Anyway, back to where you're coming from. You can't, I guess you can't give your furniture away, but maybe that could be an option from a standpoint of, if you build your own, pay for the materials, you too can have a piece of furniture. Doesn't really solve your problem, but I just thought that was kind of fun. So
They love that, believe me.
yeah.
Yeah, we invite any staff member to come in on their free time and use the shop for whatever they want.
Oh, that's cool.
They're pretty creative, and on more than one occasion, I have seen what they've been working on for themselves or a family member and said, hey, that's prettier than what you made for us.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's an accepted thing that's done here, everything from actually making furniture like ours to one of my staff this past year finished a completely handmade balsa wood like Hawaii size paddleboard. And
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
that's great.
Great. Well, thanks so much for sharing. And any other ideas or anything like that for Hannah, feel free to put them in the chat. Is there anyone else who wants to share something from their business?
I think we're good, Hannah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. We really appreciate your willingness to share. And also, as Michelle said, it's networking at its finest, and the connections that can come from, being able to share with other manufacturers. So thank you. Let's see. I think, John, you want to share a little bit about ergonomics with us now.
Right.
Is that what you want to do?
Absolutely.
Great. 1 second here. Okay. Are you seeing
Okay,
the?
let me give you a little background on this. I had spent a lot of time and thought about ergonomics up until I was put in charge of a plant in California. well, if anybody has an appreciation for California, it is without a doubt, a employee state. They are very supportive of their employees and very sensitive to their employees' needs, which I think is a good thing. I really like that. However, when I took over the plant, they had a high level of injury and strain rate. So their workman's comp claims were huge. And I hopefully none of you have to deal with workman's comp, but when you get a lot of claims, which they had enormous amount of claims, then that escalates the costs. So it was a huge cost from our standpoint. So I wanted to investigate, why that was happening, and I kind of looked at the different claims, and without a doubt, they were all back and neck strains, which put people out of work and for a long period of time. So keeping that in mind, I decided to look at, and I actually hired a ergonomic specialist. I hired him. It was just a contract person that I brought in for a couple of weeks, just to observe what was going on. And what they found was really what I'm going to talk about. So go ahead. And so the why of economics. So, and again, you're probably not facing any of these items in particular, but when you do have, and in this environment that I was running the plant, repetitive bending, twisting, turning, and heavy lifting can cause painful injuries, and that discomfort injuries does affect the person both at work and at home. And so I looked up some data. In 2019, strains, sprains, and tears accounted for 30% of the days from work cases for manufacturing employees. So 30% of the days that they were away were because of those type of injuries. Then, so effective ergonomics reduces the risk from the worker and maintains and improves their health, allowing them to perform the job better from a quality standpoint, both internally and from a standpoint of their life outside of work. If they walk away from work with a constant strain or pull, not going to be a good home life by any means. So go ahead, Hannah. So in this environment where I had taken over the plant, there was a lot of repetition in what they did. So it's very important when you have all that repetitive movement that you do try to provide some alternative task like every couple hours, and don't make them work 8-10 hours doing the same thing over and over again. So that job rotation throughout the shift, if that's not realistic, then they need to be, because if it is repetitive, they need to be allowed some short breaks, like almost every hour, because that repetition can be very strainful. So, and then one of the things that we learned from the ergonomic specialist is that really at the beginning, the middle, and towards the end of the shift, some very simple stretching exercises, movement of arms and your core itself really help from a standpoint of not putting pressure on those sensitive points. So and what this talks about is that employees who are constantly experiencing discomfort from the strains, it makes them difficult to perform their task. And when they're not working at the optimum level, then quality suffers. And go ahead, Hannah. And from a standpoint of So decreased quality results, obviously it increased your costs and your time in production and rework and scrap. All those are a quality impact. So as you're going to see as I go through this towards the end, ergonomics and lean principles really go hand in hand from a standpoint of wasted movement, wasted time, wasted energy. It really, I mean, you go back to some of the principles that we talked about in lean from standpoint of 5S, making sure that materials and tools were readily available, very close to available to the person that's working. That makes a big difference. So ergonomics and lean do go hand in hand. So I don't know, this is kind of, I thought about this after I put it down. So a stressful work environment can cause workers to tense muscles and remain in the state of extended periods of time in that state. Well, guess what? Most of our work environments are stressful. It's just, you need to, I think the thing is, if you create a culture where people are not feeling stress every minute of the day, and go ahead, Hannah, that, you know, they feel that stress, they're not going to take breaks, they're going to feel like they got to complete the task, they're going to overwork, and then they're going to run into some ergonomic problems as far as material handling. So really training information and control over ergonomic setup of an individual's workstation goes a long way in reducing stress that causes those ergonomic injuries. And what we found out when we brought this expert in is that we had a lot of workstations that had different pieces of equipment on them, and in a lot of cases, two things were happening. The equipment was not placed properly where it was a minimum amount of movement, and they were tending to lean forward to try to get their hands on everything. So we actually did some double stacking of equipment where everything was right there in front of them, and there was a minimal amount of movement. The other thing is when they, with that equipment, they were producing some product that went into a bin, that actually kicked into a bin, and that bin probably could get overloaded and they try to pick it up and carry it somewhere. So what we did was we actually put some conveyors in that were the same level as the bin, and they just slid it over, and then it took it away from there. So that was a big part of taking away that stress. Okay, so I'll go back one. So this is not the best picture, but I'm going to talk about some ergonomic tools. This one being an anti-fatigue mat. So go ahead. So anti-fatigue mats, if you're in an environment that requires extensive standing for long periods, those mats ought to be used to reduce muscle strain and enhance comfort. And it's kind of interesting. I'll walk into well, certainly I walk into any manufacturing place, I'm going to look for those. But it's kind of funny. Walk in the grocery store, and that clerk is staying there for hours at a time. I always look around to see if they have an anti-fatigue mat. I know it's corny, but it's interesting. And typically, your better stores, they do have those. So, and really, that continual standing can cause poor blood circulation, swelling, joint pain, foot problems, etc. And amazingly so, I did a quick search on Amazon. Those anti-fatigue mats only run $50 to $100, depending on the size and design. So, and then this talks about ergonomic chairs. My wife when we started the virtual thing at home, she had a didn't really have a very good chair, so I went up and bought her an ergonomic chair. And it's just like, you would think that was the best present I ever gave her. Well, it wasn't the best present, but it was a good one. So, but these chairs are not that expensive, and they make a huge difference from a standpoint. If you're having to sit for long periods of time, it's something that you really, really need to invest in. Go ahead, Anna. So the best chairs that you can find have adjustable height, adjustable armrest, some support of the back and the lumbar area, and what they call a seat pan, which is deep enough for you to sit comfortably. One more. So believe it or not, again on Amazon, you can buy a really good, very similar to what you're looking at here, ergonomic chair for $139 to $199. I'm not an Amazon advertisement person, but that's where I looked, and that's actually where I got my wife's chair. This kind of goes back to the workstation. Now, granted, this is probably an office environment we're looking at, but these adjustable workstations are really, really amazing. So from a standpoint of the layout of the station itself, got to make sure that everything is easily placed where the employee can reach them without strain. And if they're actually sitting down in the chair and that station was down, then your wrist positions need to be supported both by the arms and right up to the keyboard. So you don't need to be like this or like this. You need to be just comfortable. And elbows should be supported by the chair position, which is adjustable. Stand-up workstations they do relieve strain and create movement. They're, in the office environment, they're highly recommended. Again, look on Amazon. They're not that cheap. Well, they're about $500 to $700. But if you do have an employee that's constantly at a desk, that's probably a really good investment. Okay, so ergonomics helps you reduce employee muscle stress and strain, and it demonstrates a healthy and a safe work environment. And your employees will certainly appreciate that. They'll be more productive. You'll have better quality. And I think there's a couple more. So really, for the small investment in those tools, you're going to get a quick return on your investment, again, from a standpoint of efficiency, quality, and morale. Any questions? I'm curious to ask, does anyone use anti-fatigue mats and or ergonomic chairs or stools?
All the above.
All the above. Excellent.
Yep. Anti-fatigue mats are amazing in how simple they are, but how effective they are. And same with just a chair. When you move off the floor into an office, it's amazing how jacked up you get sitting all day.
Right.
And a stand-up desk for sure.
Terrific. Mary, what about you? I know you have a lot of movement of your employees, but do you have anti-fatigue mats? Can't hear you.
Sorry, John, were you talking to me?
Yeah, Roy. Or Mary.
We don't do too much standing for the most part, but we do use the chairs. They're probably not completely. They're not as good as the one you showed, but they're comfortable enough to get you by for the afternoon at least. But it's kind of a mix of standing and sitting, so it's not too bad.
Okay. And Mary, what about you?
Sorry. We have some anti-fatigue mats in the back, and for people who are mostly at their desks, we've made sure everybody's got a really comfortable chair, as you say, adjustable. And then I hope that everybody gets up and walks around, you know, at least once an hour. You should do that for sure. But I guess we could be more encouraging about that. Make sure you take a break and walk around. So we have somebody like our drafter, John, who will just keep at it and not move. You know her.
Mary's actually has an adjustable desk that she uses at work. So
I do, yes, I do. I've mostly had to go back to the sitting kind of desk though, because I was getting some of those kinds of problems that they listed. You could get foot problems, some swollen ankles. It was not pretty. So, but they are good. And sometimes I wish they were easier to adjust so that you could change it up during the day. The one I have at home is not very friendly for adjusting easily.
well, Mary, you're the boss. Come on. Get what you need.
IKEA does make some pretty cheap adjustable desks that are motorized, or a few $100.
Nice. Yeah, motorized is what I need. Thank you.
should be driving around the office. Yeah. You got a whole new layout in your shop. Do you have any anti-fatigue mats?
So yes, I do have anti-fatigue mats. I only have a couple workstations that I spend much time at, and there are mats there. But generally, I kind of have like maybe a 1 hour limit. I only work on one thing for 1 hour kind of limit before I move around. So I don't have much problem, and I don't really have a chair that I use it for much either. So just walking around, doing what I want to do. It's all good.
Okay, then I got to ask you the most important question. Does Lisa have a good ergonomic chair where she is trying to crunch the numbers all day long?
So, you know, we just moved in and we bought a chair from an auction sight unseen. And it's really a tall chair. So my new desk is a shelf inside of a closet. I know that sounds crazy, but it is a standing desk like Mary's, but it's adjustable because that tall chair lets me sit there. So it's good, but I'm the kind of person that can't sit still or stand still for more than about 5 minutes, you know, elementary school teacher. So I do a lot of, oh, squirrel, I need to go do this, do that. So it balances out. And I just, you know me with crunching numbers, John, how much I love that, 10 minutes at a time tops. That's it.
All right. Catherine, it's good to see you. So you called our ergonomics discussion. Any application to your shop? No, she heard me or not.
You're on mute, Catherine. Sorry.
Okay, I do use ergonomic chairs in my shop, and I saw something kind of humorous on that picture you had just shown about that adjustable desk. I don't know if anybody noticed that there was a treadmill on the ground of that picture. Did you guys see that?
No.
Did on the left side?
Yeah, I think that was a treadmill. I thought that was very innovative.
Yeah, and some shoes to go next to it. There were some like tennis shoes by her desk.
I was thinking that would be a great idea for those people who get stuck in front of their desk all day. Because just standing, you might have those foot problems, but if you have that treadmill, it would probably help your circulation better. It definitely got my mind thinking.
I didn't know I captured that. I'm gonna have to get one of those for my wife.
And you can exercise while you work. That you help two birds with one stone.
That's right. That's right. So. Okay, any other questions on ergonomics? I know, it's just, I think it's something important that we need to think about. We got to take care of our employees and if we show the concern and the care that's involved in a little bit of spending of money, they're going to really appreciate it. So, Okay,
Great.
Hannah, it's
Well,
back to you.
yeah, thank you, John. Really helpful information. And of course, all of this will be available on the course website if anyone's wanting to review or download any of those materials or anything. So as kind of a looking forward and next steps, we want to just show you a few resources that could be helpful. We won't have this recurring class each week, but there are still resources available to aid your business. So let me just get this sharing. So the first one we want to show are the, you get a sneak peek into our agenda for the day. Just want to look at the, oh shoot, that's not the right screen. You'd think after 7 weeks, I'd have this figured out. Okay, are you seeing the SBDC page?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was a no. Okay, well now we actually have it up. Okay, here it is. So like we've said before, we offer free one-on-one consulting with John or any of our business consultants, and that doesn't end after this course. That's available to you all the time. Our consultants would love to connect with you depending on what your needs are. So this is our scheduling page if you haven't made an appointment yet. John also has a direct scheduling link, which we, maybe Michelle, could you put that in the chat? And we'll also include all of this in the follow-up email tomorrow, and it's also in the course website. So lots of ways to get to this information, but they are scheduled for an hour. You don't need to take that whole amount of time. If you don't need the full amount of time, they are remote for right now, either through Zoom or just a phone call. And this is our scheduling page for all of our consultants. So you can see some of the different consultants here on the side. And so you can find who has the best schedule that matches up with yours. And we have different specialties. So if you do need to really hone in on marketing or finance or legal, whatever it might be, we have a specialist that can connect with you, or manufacturing, as is the case with John. So this will be true for any of these consultants, but we'll do John for an example. You would just click here and you can see all the different times that he's available. And you can click a time to continue and just put in your information and it's scheduled. So it's really easy. We encourage you to take advantage if you haven't already. So that's a great resource, is our consultants, and also just our website, northmetrosbdc.com. We have the Colorado Business Resource Guide on there. We have, of course, all of the webinars and other programming available on our website. So that's a good resource. We'll self-promote shamelessly, SBDC. The other one we want to mention is Manufacturer's Edge. We'll pull this one up too. Are y'all seeing Manufacturer's Edge? Okay, great. So that is the organization that Jessica, who presented our marketing presentation last week, she's the Director of Communications and Marketing for Manufacturer's Edge. So I think some of you may work with them already, but they're another great resource. You can see on their website, they do consulting. They also do training and events, and their sole focus is to help Colorado manufacturers. So they're really rooting for all of you. They're a great place to check out and see, depending on what the needs of your business are, how they can be of service to you. And then the last one we want to just throw out there is this Colorado Advanced Manufacturing Association. So it's a member-based trade association. Taking a minute to load here, I guess. We'll try it again. And so they are member-based, but they do have, it's trying really hard. I keep seeing my spinning wheel. They do have some free resources available as well. And so if anyone is looking to be a part of more of an association, they can be really helpful, even on a membership basis. So it might not load right now, but it'll be in all of the information tomorrow in the email, and it's on the website. So just a couple of resources for some of your next steps after you leave the class, and if you do ever need assistance or help or anything like that. So any questions on resources and next steps? Cool. And I think, thank you, Michelle, for putting all of that in the chat there. That's really helpful.
Sure, you're welcome.
So what we would like to do next is I'm going to put this survey in the chat. And it's like a post-course survey. I think all of you did our pre-course survey, kind of what do you hope to get out of this course? Where are you at with your business? Things like that. This one is just more of an evaluation. It's really short, really simple of the course so that we can get some feedback on how we can be improving or things that you liked, things you didn't like. It is completely it won't confidential. It won't be shared outside of our SBDC staff. So I will put that in there and would ask that you all fill that out, and we will even give you some time to do that now. I'll also show you, I remember what I wanted to show you. Everyone's going to get some certificates of completion because you did do a lot of work in this course, and we really appreciate the work that you did put in. We know sometimes the homework was a lot, but we really believe that it was helpful to your businesses, and it was really great to see some of the growth that did come from the class. So I'll just show you an example. Michelle put together these beautiful certificates, so I wanted to showcase those just a little bit. I'll be sending them to everyone. Oh, it's a little big. Be sending them out to everyone individually with your, obviously your own name, and we'll have our signatures on there from Angela Atkinson, Atkinson, our director, and also John. So just wanted to kind of show that and as an example because Michelle did such a great job, and we do really value the work that you put into the course. So good job, Michelle, and great job, everyone. So any other like last questions or comments or anything, any questions about the survey, anything else?
I just want to say thank you to Hannah and John for doing such a great job with this course. They definitely did a really good job, and they took the time to have everybody put their input in. So thank you, everybody, for joining us and for attending this workshop.
Thanks, Michelle. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Like we said, we've really appreciated it. And we do hope that you will, continue to look at the other courses we have coming up through the SBDC, whether they're webinars or more course-based like this one. We think they could be helpful depending on where you're at in your business. And John, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Well, I want to, I guess, thank you for your participation, which has been excellent. Thank you for your input, your sharing of ideas. I think that's really when Hannah, Michelle, and I were first putting together this course, one of the key things that that we were talking about was to make sure that it wasn't just us talking. It was a lot of good interaction and input from each one of you, what you've done, and hopefully you certainly have each other's emails. And that you continue to share ideas in the future. And in particular, remember that I am available. The next couple of months, I will be in a position to come out to your work site and kick around some ideas. And your growth and your development is something you constantly need to be thinking about. I know it's a corny phrase, but a lot of times with small companies, each one of you work in your business and not on it. And this whole course has been really focused on working on your business and building the structure and the methodology to be able to do that. And so I really appreciate it. I can't tell you how much satisfaction it gives me to see each one of you grow and develop, and we'll continue that relationship.
Great, thanks, John. All right, well, yeah, I guess we can end a little bit early today and gives you a little extra time to fill out that survey if you would. as always, if you have any questions or if there's anything we can do to help, feel free to reach out to us. And we appreciate all that you have done. You should feel very proud of yourselves for the work that you're doing in your businesses. And yeah, so thank you all for being a part of it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.